Art is a therapy for me. I've went through like childhood dramas, and art was my way of getting through it. I had to work on the most sensitive part of my life, and it got me where I am today. Yeah. So it wasn't easy, but I made it. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I came about it. So yeah. Art has always been part of my life ever since childhood. I just never thought it was art. Yeah. And I grew up always being the top artistic kid in the class. When everybody had projects, Michelle was that person that you could turn to. And I didn't realize it until my sister actually started at the College of the Arts, but she was doing singing, and she was like, "Why don't you do that? Go try it out, go see where it can get you." And I was just like, ah, no, these drawing things are it's just drawing things. Until I actually took it serious. I failed my grade 10 though, and I was like, okay, but I have this talent, maybe it could lead me to something. And I started working, and I had to pay because I did now part-time classes at the College of the Arts, and I was like, okay, it's going. And with the lecturer helping me through it, I could actually say, oh wow, I am really creative. Yeah. And that's when it actually started becoming a thing. But then people were like, no, art is not something you can rely on, it's not something that you can make a living from. My mom was even like, los daai goeders en gaan soek vir jou werk. And I was just like, ugh, okay. But that's how I needed to push myself, even though my family wasn't even supportive. So yeah, that's when I was like, I'm going for it. Doesn't matter what. I mean, this is the only thing I have now to make a living out of it, so why not? My art that I do, I would say professionally. Yeah, I would say it's relief sculptures that I do. I do 3D as well, I do flat as well, but the ones that I do the most is relief sculptures. Relief sculptures is something that's on the wall, because wall art is usually categorized as 2D. But if it has like a sense of from the wall, yeah, then it's like a relief, because it's not like flat on the wall, like a framed work. It has like a depth, it has volume on the wall. Yeah. So that's relief sculptures. I had to, make it a thing, because with people not supporting me and all of that, I was just like, but I'm good and I love doing it. So I just need to do something with it. I mean, it's the only thing that I could enjoy. After all the jobs that I've had, I started working when I was 14 years just to, because we were 7 kids and my mom couldn't support like each one on their own thing. And I had to like have a hustle here and a hustle there just to get something in. And after all the jobs that I've had, even though it paid well, but it just didn't have that, where you can actually wake up with excitement to go do your job. It was just never, you were literally forcing yourself to get up in the morning. But with art, it was just so natural. You wake up with a smile because you're going to do what you love. And that's the thing that kept me going, because it's something that I love doing. And this is, yeah, this is the results of that love, that it just has naturally to you. Namibian art is not really seen as like a top priority or something that people actually consider as something good, or I don't know, not really good, but they just see it as a hobby, you know. That's what Namibian art, or people see Namibian art to be. It's just something you like to do. It's not really a thing, you know. But I think with the few artists that are actually making something, you know, from art, it's where they actually realize, oh wow, you can actually do something with art. It's not just something, a hobby, like they would call it. It's something that's actually like, that can actually create like a living. And if you, even as artists, you create jobs for others as well, which makes it even more, like it adds value to how people see art. I've been to Cape Town and I've seen how art is respected, like respected. And I was so amazed because it was like in the airport, in, you know, in companies that you never thought art would be, you know, it's on the wall, and it brings so much value to the place itself, because it's South African art and artists that created that, you know, and it brings value. And I think if we could do the same, not exactly the same, but if art could just be more in public, you know, people could also start seeing art as a thing, you know, because it can reach out to the public. Because to my experience and knowledge, like people, like parents of today, they are just like, if your child is doing art, it's just a thing. He can do it, but not as a full-time career, you know. But if they can see art is all over, and they start understanding art, they start engaging with art, you know, on a public surface where everybody is, where they move every day, I think it will start adding value to the art in Namibia, to people actually supporting artists, you know, because that's one thing that we lack, like Namibian artists being supported by Namibian people. And I think with public art, it can actually add value to the artists and the art in Namibia. If art could speak more about the value of Namibian tradition, cultures, you know, like it has a link, you know, to what the past was and how it is now. And I think, especially with the mural, like within Vernil, like in between, you could see like the past. It's how like we used to travel with the donkey car and everything, and then you look this side where you see emojis, which is the social media of today. You know, people don't reply with words anymore; they reply with emojis. You know, and if you see those two narratives like together, you're like the past and the future, the current. You know, and that's basically how people look at it. You know, and this will start like bringing people like close to art, and they will start like connecting through it because they can relate to it. It's not just something out of imagination or whatsoever. It's something that they can look at and relate to. And I just felt like how the world is changing, you know, how it has me like, because I don't like to reply in words. I am one of those people that actually just send emojis, you know, just that's it, you know. And I think from the expression, you'll definitely know what I want to say. And it was something that I could relate to because that's how people on social media put it, you know. And you could see it everywhere, you know, how people could relate to emojis. And I felt like it's a way of communicating, you know, with expressions, and that's what art is about, you know, expressing yourself, and the emojis just make it clear. Yeah, so that's why I had it done, you know. And you know, the broken effect on the wall was like just to have like a realistic kind of thing, but also with the emojis that are cartoon effect. Yeah, so I just wanted to create like the depth, the creativity to the wall effect as well, because you know, just to have a solid block is so yeah. Yeah, it's like it's just so norm, and I wanted to do something like out of the ordinary, and I think it came out well. And yeah, so they weren't keen to it, but when they saw it like on the wall, like during the process, they're like, this is not what we imagined, but it looks great, you know. And I was happy because, you know, we don't want to be judged by our designs, but rather wait for the end results to see what it looks like actually.